Welcome to the last presentation, everyone. So this presentation is entitled Queensland Ballet's Kindy Moves and QUT Project Evaluation. The presenters, as you can see, are Martha and Joseph. So firstly, I'll just give you a bit of a background to them. So Martha is formerly from Brisbane. Her formal training began in 2010 after completing an advanced diploma of dance at the Australian Dance Performance Institute. Oh my goodness. From 2011, she studied at Hamburg, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Ballet Schule de John Neumeyer, I don't know, Germany, oh my goodness, Evie, and performed in multiple company productions. Following this, she became a trainee with Washington Ballet DC from August 2013, and in 2014 joined Queensland Ballet as a young artist, performing in numerous productions including Macmillan's Romeo and Juliet and Balanchine's Serenade. Martha joined QB as a teaching artist in 2015, teaching in a variety of community and education programs before progressing into the role of education manager in 2018. Martha is also studying a Bachelor of Biomed Science at QUT, Queensland University of Technology, with a view to combine her knowledge of dance and science. Wow. And we also have Joseph with us today. Joseph is a proud Queensland Ballet education teaching artist. He is a former company artist of Queensland Ballet, and he has performed with major Australian and international performing artist companies. Since hanging up the tights, Joseph enjoys applying his professional experience throughout many facets in dance community as a teaching artist and as the engagement and relations officer at Queensland Ballet. Wow. So we're very lucky here, guys, today to have them both come and present to us.
Thank you, Evie, and good work on all those challenging ballet names. So yeah, well, thank you for having us. We're really excited to be here today and to share Queensland Ballet's Kindy Moves project, and thank you to ECTA for having us here. Before we start, I just want to acknowledge the traditional owners of all the lands on which we're meeting from today, and acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. So as Evie has already said, my name's Martha. My current role at Queensland Ballet is as the education manager. So I look after all of our projects in schools for students, teachers, regional communities, and also some of our accessible, inclusive programs. And this is the lovely Jo. Do you want to say a little bit about your current role?
Sure, Jo? Yeah. Similar to Martha, I've transitioned from a career in performing arts, and I'm working with Queensland Ballet in the capacity of a teaching artist, but also in a full-time capacity in engagement programs, particularly with youth participation. And that's my main focus at QB, but I'm really excited to reach out with you all today and share some of the insights that we kind of discovered on the journey of Kindy Moves. It was a program that Martha and I first worked on together when we came together at Queensland Ballet. So we're really excited to share it with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I hope you can all see and hear us okay. If you do have any issues, put them in the chat. And also, as Evie said, we'll have 2 points throughout the presentation where we'll answer questions today. So if you do have any questions as they come up, pop them in the chat and we'll come back and revisit those at those 2 points. So today's presentation will be a mix of us talking to you, and we'll have a PowerPoint as well, but we'll also do a fair bit of practical work. As you can see, we've got some colourful dots set up. We're ready to move. So you can engage however you would like to. If you want to kind of clear a small space, we won't be doing any big grangettos or anything across the room. So if you have a kind of a 2 square metre space around you, that would be absolutely fine, and just make sure that that's clear of any objects that you could trip on or anything like that. If you have little ones at home who want to join in, they're more than welcome to as well. And of course, if you just want to watch, or if you want to engage with the practical parts from a seated position on a chair and just do the arm movements or things like that, you're more than welcome to kind of adapt the content as you would like to engage today. And of course, if you have any injuries or anything like that, please take it easy. We're not going to be judging the best plie here today. I guess the other thing I wanted to mention is we have a beautiful big screen above us where we can see all your names and faces. So if you see us looking up slightly, it's only because we're looking at the screen above us, but we're trying to address the camera, which is below as much as possible. Also, when we do our practical sessions, we will be talking as if you are children. So put on your 4-year-old brain and have a bit of fun and engage and move around, but we'll kind of shift between addressing you as adults when we talk a bit more about, I guess, the thinking behind the exercises and what they're addressing. But when we're doing the practical side, we'll talk to you as we talk to the children, just so you kind of get that more holistic view of the program and that experience. And so as per, I guess, every ballet class, we're going to start with a warm-up today, and the lovely Jo's going to lead that. I just want to mention that this is a similar warm-up that we do in all of our early years programs. And then this one has been adapted more for a kindergarten setting. So we are in a studio today, but we did adapt this to suit more of a kindergarten setting. And the version that Jo and I are going to share with you today is our full warm-up. So it's something that we achieved over 10 weeks of working with the group. So it's what we would have done in the last class. Certainly in the first class, it was a little bit easier, and then we progressed this warm-up over 10 weeks. So just for your understanding, this is the more advanced version for us today. Awesome.
Great. So I'm going to get prepared and get my little zone of space. So I do encourage you to, if you're going to join in the practical, just find some place on the floor, some space around you. You can join in from your chair if you wish, and you can adapt the movement as Martha said. So we're just going to give ourselves a few moments just to set up, and then we'll go into it. Great, so you can hear us okay from here? We're all good? Fantastic, awesome. So we normally start it as well in a circle, just so you know, in a large circle with all the students facing inwards, so it's kind of a very equal space for everyone to be engaging and joining in. So, hello and welcome, Kindy friends. It's so wonderful to see you all here today. And my name is Mr. Jo, and I'm joined with Miss Martha, and she's going to also be dancing with us today as if we are all wonderful dancers in the room. And we're going to explore a few different stories today as well. So let's all just find a place on the floor and choose a coloured dot of your choice, and we're going to start feeling nice and tall in our body. Wonderful. Okay, let's start with a nice big stretch with our arms and legs. Can we make a big stretch as if we're a starfish? Oh, some good starfishes out there today. And let's give ourselves a nice big hug. Oh, nice squeeze. Oh, it feels so nice to give yourself a hug. And a nice big stretch like a big starfish. Oh, all your fingers. Can you make those starfish fingers sparkle in the sky? Woohoo! Wow, they're fantastic. Some great starfishes over there. And a nice big hug, nice squeeze, squeeze all the juice out. Oh, big squeeze. And a nice big stretch. And a squeeze. And a stretch. And a squeeze. And a stretch. And a squeeze. And a stretch. And let's let those fingers sparkle in the sky. Can we imagine our hands are now leaves falling from a tree? And let them waft and float as if they're falling all the way down. Beautiful work, everyone. A gust of wind comes, and the leaves fall again. Beautiful. There's another gust of wind, Martha. Lovely. gorgeous. Okay, I want us to get a paintbrush. I want to paint some colours in the sky. I'm going to imagine my colour today is orange. What colour do you have, Martha?
Well, I've got yellow.
Yellow. Awesome. Let's paint the sky with our favourite colour. Oh, very nice. Can we put some of that colour onto our tippy toes? Beautiful. Colour our feet. Nice. Let's colour the other foot. And let's paint all the way down our legs. Oh, such colourful legs. So juicy. Yum. I'm hungry now. Stick them together like spaghetti. Magic paint. Very good. And let our arms rest. Our little leaf arms resting by the side. I can see lots of happy backs out there today, Martha. Oh, look at those happy backs. They're awesome. Lovely. Can we see a sad back? Ooh, a sad face and a sad back. Oh, so sad. And a happy back. And a happy face. Share your happy face with everyone around the room today. Oh, wonderful. And a sad back and a sad face in the room. And a happy back. Beautiful. Lovely. Oh, some good kicking legs over there. Let's paint those legs again and get them all stuck together. Like spaghetti. 2 long pieces of spaghetti. Beautiful. And we're going to draw and paint one line. Up, 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 up. Feeling tall and happy in our back. And all the way down. Very good. This is a bit tricky, Miss Martha. I'm going to go a bit, try it again. Drawing our line all the way up, 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 up. And down. Very good. If you're sitting in a chair today, maybe you could use your arms instead of your legs to go up, 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 and down. Let's try the other leg. Let's paint it all up with some magic paint. Get it ready for action. Here we go. Up, 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 up. And down. Nice. Lovely hands painting as well. Up, 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 up. And down. Oh, good. Let's shake it all out. Oh, shake all the energy out. Let your whole body sparkle. Wow. Very sparkly, Miss Martha. Great. We're going to stick our legs together again with our magic glue, and this time we're going to do a nice happy back. Beautiful. It's very tiring. I'm a little bit puffed already. Get out of action today. Trying 2 feet, toes, drawing up, 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 up. Oh, this is hard, tricky. And all the way down. Very nice. Up, 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 up. Tall backs. Very good, Miss Martha. And this time we're going to do our knees all the way up to our chest, and they're going to open up like butterfly wings. Here we go. Up, 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 up. And open our knees to the side. And can you make your butterfly wings flap? Could be an eagle. Could be a bird. Let's rock like a bird flying through the sky. Now, who can show me where their nose is? Who can point to their nose? Where is it? No, Miss Martha, that's not your nose. That looks good. Beautiful. Let's bring our rocking, soaring bird to a nice still position. Feeling lifting tall. We're going to take our nose and we're going to take it all the way down to our toes, like we're looking over into a beautiful pond full of fish. Can you see the fish down the pond? Oh, Mike, I've got lots of colourful fish. Tropical fish today. And coming all the way up, 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 up. How many fish did you see, Martha?
4 fish.
4 fish. All right, let's go see if we can find 5 fish. Find our nose again, give it a tickle. Beautiful. And dive and look into our pond. Here we go. Very good. Oh yeah, there's the 5th fish. It was hiding under a rock.
Found it.
Found it. Oh, very good. Nice tall back. Beautiful. And who can show me their ear? Where is your ear? Very good. Give it a bit of a wiggle and a tickle. Beautiful. Well, it feels quite nice actually. Can we take our ear across to our knee? Take it all the way over. A little stretch. Can you see how far you get your ear to your knee? Beautiful. And nice and tall with a happy back. And who can remember a sad back? Sad back. And a happy back. Very nice. And can we tickle the other ear? Put some magic, colourful paint on it today with our paintbrush. And I want you to put some colour on your other knee with your ear. See if you can paint your knee with your ear. Oh, it's a bit tricky. Very nice. Come out to a nice tall back. Let's shake out our sillies again. Send some electricity around the room. Ah, very nice. Martha, can we make a little V shape with our legs? Put them a little bit apart, like a starfish again. And I want to crawl our hands up to the sky. Beautiful. And can we let our stars sparkle all the way down into our head? And can we say good morning, head?
Good morning, head.
Very good. And a tickle on our shoulders. Good morning, shoulders.
Good morning, shoulders.
And tickle our tummies. Good afternoon, tummies.
Good afternoon, tummies.
Mr. Joe has no idea what day of the week, what time it is. And tickle all the way down to our knees. Hello, knees.
Hello, knees.
And hello, toes.
Hello, toes.
Now I want us to make a little bit of thunder. Can we make some thunder in our body? And what happens to thunder? What sound does it make? Crash, crash. Can we do a crash? Beautiful. Let's do some more thunder. Anywhere on your body. Can be on your arm. Build, and crash. Crash. Beautiful. Let's put the thunder and rain all the way down in front of our body. Can we reach out to everyone in the middle, making a big storm? Pitter, patter, pitter, patter, pitter, pitter, and crash. Beautiful, Kindy friends. I think it's time to stand up. Great. Like, can we all sit like a frog on our dot? Can we be like a little frog on the dot? I want to see lots of lovely little frogs. Oh, that's a good frog. Nice. Great. Now, what does a frog do, Miss Martha? It jumps. Let's jump up like a frog. Woo! Very good. Nice. Okay, good. Now, do you remember our shape that we made with our feet last week? We called it pizza feet. So it's like making a little V with our feet, almost like a penguin standing up nice and tall. Oh, very good. Can we all rub our hands together with our magic glue? Mine's orange today, like we said. Maybe yours is rainbow, whatever colour you like, and stick them on our hips, nice and tall. And we're going to practice our word of plie. Do you remember what a plie is?
Plie.
Oh, that looks very good. Bending of the knees. Can we all say plie?
Plie.
Very nice. Let's all give plie a go. Here we go. Bending the knees. Bend, bend, bend. And stretch the knees. Very good, plies. Keeping our nice happy backs. Bend in and bend. And stretch. Okay, great. We're so good at bending our plies today. Can we make a nice bubble with our arms? And let's make that bubble grow. All the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Beautiful bubbles in the room. And the bubble's going to lift us higher and higher into the sky, all the way up, 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 up. And it pops, pop, and we come down. Very nice. Let's blow up our bubble again. Here we go. Up, 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 up. Lots of bubble air. And it's so bright, it's lifting us into the sky. We're going to fly away and it pops. Very nice, everybody. Let's put our magic glue back on our hands and onto our hips. And can we make our second position that we've done? So we had our plie, our first position of bending of the knees, and we're going to do our second position. Can you show me what the second position looks like? Very good, Miss Martha. We're making our house over our colourful dot. Nice tall mountain maybe over our dot. Very nice. Now let's practice our plies in second position. Here we go. And bending, 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 bending. And stretch. And bending, 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 bending. And stretch. Let's fill those arms up with lots of colourful air. And pop, pop. Nice, great bubbles. Loving that stripy shaped bubble, very nice. Blowing all the way up. Up, 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 and it's so full of air, we fly into the sky, all the way up on our tiptoes. Oh, and we pop open, very good. Now let's jump back to our first position, Martha. Very good. Now who remembers our sautés? sort of sound like salty, but they're not. Our saute. And what does that mean? Do you remember what it means?
To jump.
To jump. Jump to the sky. We're going to practice our sautes. Can we all say saute?
Saute.
Very good, Miss Martha. Very responsive today. I don't know why. It's a very good group. We're going to practice our sautes today. Mr. Joe just defines here saute music. Now I want us to count to, let's count to 8 today with our sautes. So let's put our magic glue in our hands, and stick it to our hips, and we're going to practice 8 sautes in first position. Here we go, 8 jumps in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very good. Blow up a bubble. And burst. Very good, girls and boys. Let's try it again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blowing up a bubble. Very good jumping from the stripy shirt in the lead. Very nice. Blowing up bubble. Lovely work, Miss Martha. Let's go to second position. Do you remember our second position? Nice. Let's give it a go. 8 sautes. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's shake off some energy. A little shake. Can you shake one of your feet for me? Very good. And the other foot. Give it a shake. And our whole body. Our tummy's a little bit rumble. Oh, very good. Very nice. Oh. How about our tondus? Can we jump and make our second position over our dot? Very good. Let's jump back on our dot. Who can jump in front of their dot? Whoa, that's tricky. Back on our dot. And behind our dot. Now take one little finger and we're going to make it into a dragonfly. Flying through the sky. And it's going to land on our foot. Oh. Who can balance their dragonfly on their toe and let it fly in the sky? Oh, not bad. Very good. Very good. And let's watch our dragonfly fly away. All right, let's make another dragonfly. Oh, yours is a fast dragonfly. Can you do a slow dragonfly? A slow dragonfly. Oh, beautiful. And that dragonfly is going to gently find its way down to our toe. Try the other toe this time. Okay, we're going to slide it out very gently. We don't want it to fly away. Touching our dot in front. All balanced. Fly. Way! Nice job, everyone. Very good. And putting our dragonfly back down and letting it fly away. Very good. Very nice, everybody. What do we call that step again? I forget.
Tondu.
Tondu. Can we all say tondu?
Tondu.
Ah, yet again, the audience today is just brilliant. Fantastic. Now I want us to find a place sitting on our dots. And actually, let's stand up and we'll move on to the presentation. Okay, so that's kind of a general broad overview of what we would do for our warm-up. Of course, these are some of the steps we achieved over the 10 weeks. This wasn't what we approached on day one. Day one, we just started with very basic introductory movement exercises that weren't underpinned by ballet steps. And then as the weeks progressed, we started to weave in all those dance components very gently. And it was lovely to see at the end of the 10 weeks, we could get a lot of response and understanding of those basic ballet terms and positions. and being able to use the French terminology for them as well, which is quite wonderful.
The kids really enjoyed the French terminology for the steps. I think that was nice, challenging them a little bit linguistically as well, but it also, each week they came and go, oh, I remember the plie, or I remember the saute, and they linked that to the steps. So at first we were a bit hesitant around using those French words, but it actually proved quite important. Yeah.
I hope you're feeling warm and ready for some PowerPoint presentation time. I know I'm feeling quite warm.
Brilliant. So I'm just going to share my screen now, and we're going to go onto the PowerPoint. Oh, here we go. Sorry, let me, giving away secrets for later on our creative activity. Brilliant. Can you see that? Just give me a thumbs up if you can. Yep, we're all good to go. Beautiful. All right. So, Kindy moves. There's Mr. Joe soaring like a bird. Here we go. So, I guess I just want to start by giving you more of an overview of the project. So we delivered this in term 3 at Lady Gowrie Caboolture's Community Kindergarten. It was made possible by an Arts Queensland Artist in Residence grant that the kindergarten was fortunate enough to receive, and then we came in as essentially the artists in residence. It was a 10-week program, so it was progressive over the 10 weeks as we just explained with the warm-up. And we came to the kindergarten twice a week, so for 2 different groups on a Monday and a Friday, and the classes went for around 45 minutes each week. The final class, we opened up to parents and families to come along and participate, which was really lovely that they were able to share the experience with their children and see what they had been working on over the 10 weeks. And we had a few little children come out as the teachers, making sure that mum and dad were participating correctly and joining in, and had good plies and all those kind of things. And then we also at the end of the program gave each child a QB Junior membership for 2019, and the idea was that then they could continue their relationship and continue to engage with Queensland Ballet, so it wasn't just a drop in and out program. And we also had researcher Sandra Gattenhof involved in the project. She's from QUT, and she evaluated the course, and her evaluation of Queensland Ballet's Kindy Moves project is available on our website, and the link will come up on our screen later as well if you'd like to access that. Let's go to our next slide. Awesome. So it was a 10-week course, and we had 5 early years books that we chose that were the basis of those 10 lessons. So each book we focused on for 2 classes, and they were, I guess, the stimulus for each lesson. And we chose the books from the Premier's Reading Challenge 2018 book list. And we chose ones that were conducive to dance, but also had some kind of regular early years themes, so that the program had, I guess, longevity beyond that book list, but that we could come back and find a book about colours and shapes, or about animals, or about music, or friends, emotion, that kind of thing, so that the kind of structure was a little bit transferable across the years. Each lesson was based off our QB Petty Pointers Early Years Dance program, which is a program we've been running since 2015 in our studios. And we used a similar structure in terms of a warm-up, kind of a middle creative section of the workshop, and then a cool down. And then we adapted some of those kind of, I guess, teaching pedagogies into a kindergarten classroom context, also recognising that when we're coming into a kindergarten, we're reaching to a much broader demographic of children. And it was interesting to note, actually, when we came in to the kindergarten, I think out of the 52 children who were part of the program, only 2 had been to a ballet class before. So they didn't have too much of a preconceived idea around what ballet was or what it should look like. So we were able to just have fun and move and kind of tell stories through dance was, I guess, the key theme of the program. And of course, all the lessons were underpinned by the early years learning framework, which I know that's your space as educators, and then our kind of expertise is bringing dance into the picture and how we can help to link into or achieve some of those outcomes through dance and through the program. Great. So these were our 5 books or 5 themes that we chose to go with. You'll see the first dot point on each of these was an outcome we related to the warm-up. So what kind of, I guess, key movement skills were we developing, body awareness, kinesthetic awareness, that kind of thing. So each of those first dot points under each lesson plan was progressive. The second dot point underneath were more specifically related to that theme or that book. And what we did try to achieve throughout the whole program by the end was that students or the children were able to skip and gallop. They didn't have to be perfect skips or perfect gallops, but that they had those movements, those key fundamental movement skills were developing. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the books later, and we'll show you what they were and some examples of some of the activities. But I guess the other key thing about this slide was that by the end, by the last book, which is one we're going to do in a bit more detail today, that was, I guess, the peak of the program in the sense that we pulled elements from each book and structured them into that last lesson, so that the children were able to tell a full story through dance. It had multiple instructions, multiple formations, traveling from inside to outside, things like that, that of course wouldn't be achievable in the first week, but by the end we could link those more complex patterns and sequences and instructions together.
Sorry, Martha, we can only see the first slide.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So we'll jump, that's I guess about the program, but we'll jump now to the evaluation that was written by Sandra Gattenhof, and I've just pulled out a few kind of key parts of the evaluation. You'll see the link is down there on the bottom left corner. It's freely available to download on our website, on Queensland Ballet's website, through our dance health section. But I'll just go through these. So the program goals, I'll just read these. So we had develop a new kinesthetic. Yeah.
Sorry. We can only see the first slide at the moment, the introduction slide. Did you want to try possibly closing shared screen again? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we can only see slide 1. Yeah.
Can you see them now if I'm not on like... Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I will just try and go to the slideshow one more time and see if that.
Okay.
And if I change slides, has that changed for you, Evie? Or?
No. It's still on the Kindy Moves workshop, slide 2.
Well, that's all right. Maybe I'll just do it in like outside of the slideshow.
Yeah, cool.
As
no
such.
Worries. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
No, thank you for letting us know. You can see that now though?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
We might just scroll through here.
Great, thank you.
No, thank you, Evie. Great, so program goals. We had develop a new kinesthetic approach to learning core skills, be able to express themselves creatively, be able to use movement to aid in understanding of literacy and numeracy. So we did try and link in some early literacy and numeracy skills as often as possible. And of course, using books that made the literacy component quite easy to weave in. And then numeracy, we looked at a lot of shapes, spatial awareness, formations, even as Joe was doing the sautés, counting to 8, jumping in front of a dot or behind a dot, things like that, so that we were just developing some of that early understanding. Develop a disposition for understanding the world through dance, feel an enhanced sense of belonging and enjoyment in going to kindergarten, and to become connected to and feel valued by QB through the membership of QB Junior. And then we also have on the right hand side the aims of the evaluation, which Sandra was aiming to achieve through her research. Understanding QB's teaching approaches and how from our studio offering transferred into a kindergarten context as well. So from kind of an informal, I guess, learning space to more of a formal learning space in the kindergarten. To enhance the learning community at QB, to overtly develop links between early years learning programs, and to apprehend the impact of teaching artists working alongside kindergarten educators to deliver movement programs in early years contexts as well. So I'm not sure if many people have heard of the word of teaching artist before. It's not, I guess, widely known, but essentially a teaching artist is, I guess that's Jo and I's role, and first and foremost we're an artist, and we're bringing that art form into a different context or into a different learning setting and making it relevant for that group. In a quick blurb about what teaching artists are. Great, and then I just want to highlight this slide. I won't read through all of them, but I think these are some really nice impact narratives, because it's not often that we have a tangible kind of story around what the impact of a program may have had, and particularly with dance. So Sandra has pulled some key impact narratives from 3 children who, I guess throughout the program, we certainly saw a difference. And acknowledging that also, you know, we visited the kindergarten once a week, so that difference took place also in the other learning that was going on in their kindergarten. Just quickly, I guess child 1 had cerebral palsy, and the kindergarten teachers were awesome in trying to get the child engaged, because his first comment was that I can't dance, which was sad to see that he didn't feel that he could dance, but that we could bring him into the picture. And certainly one of the teachers transferred I guess our happy back and sad back analogy into analogy about transformers, which was his favorite thing. So transformers were powering up and then transformers were powering down. So finding ways that he could engage in his own way. And then the kindergarten teachers noticed that due to his increased confidence and increased confidence in physically moving, he was able to engage more with his peers. Child 2, I guess the kindergarten teachers described this child as having social emotional difficulties. And one of the key things which is outlined in there, which was really nice to hear, was that they saw this child smile, which they hadn't seen as often before. But when the dance classes started coming, and at first point she was quite hesitant, but as we moved throughout the program, certainly we saw her smiling and enjoying moving, which was great to see. And the last child, a shy child, predominantly playing alone, but would come home after the movement program and share the steps with his family. And I think for his family and his parents, that was a really nice way that they could engage with him when he wasn't often sharing his experiences. Yeah. Moving on. These are the program commendations and recommendations. Again, I won't read through these, but I just wanted to highlight them. These were really important to us post-program as well, to then think about, okay, this really worked, and what could have we done better next time when we're going into a similar situation. And I think if you're ever having artists, musicians, dancers come into your kindergarten or your learning context, these could be helpful, just some of our kind of key learnings about how we could have made the program even better than it was, and enhanced that. So I don't want to speak for too long, so I'm going to skip forwards to make sure we have some time for any questions that you may have as well. So this is our last slide. I just wanted to let you know as well, we've developed a Dance for Early Years Education ebook, and that is actually quite strongly based on our learnings and our lesson plans and activities from Kindy moves. And it's not available yet, but we're hoping it will be soon. So if you are interested in hearing more about that, please feel free to email us at community@queenslandballet.com.au. Yeah, so that's it for our PowerPoint section. I might, let's see if there's any questions. Evie, have there been any questions in the chat that we'd like to go through?
No questions as yet, but if anyone does have questions, feel free to ask now.
Free to unmute yourself and
ask us
sorry.
anything. Did that? Yeah. Yeah, no questions as yet.
Oh, good. We can get moving, and then we'll also have time at the end to answer some questions as well.
Definitely.
So I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can. Evie, I might need your help to stop sharing my screen. It's my art. Awesome. I'm back. Lovely. Great. Okay, so I guess what we wanted to go through now is show you how we brought the stories to life, essentially. So the middle part of our dance workshop was bringing those stories to life. And I have them here, the stories that we used. Again, as we spoke about, we tried to pull themes that would be common across early years books, so we had a longevity of the activities that we did create. So the first one we had was Nellie Bell, and about travel and actions. That's about a dog that goes on a journey to various places, the park, the beach. And some of the activities we did for this book is we started with creating a map. So we had a large piece of paper, and we marked out 4 places that Nellie Bell visited, and we drew a map connecting those 4 locations, and then we decided how we would move, which kind of locomotor movements would we use to get to each place. So this was our first lesson, and we just wanted to get the kids moving, and we shifted from inside to outdoors. So one of the lovely things about being in a kindergarten is that you do have that outdoor space and the sand pit and all those kind of fun sensory places that we could work in. So yeah, we marched down the city street, being a very important office person. We tiptoed through the sand pit because it was very hot, and then we got to the pirate ship and we looked out for pirates and things like that. So it was a very, I guess it wasn't an abstract lesson plan as such. We very much kind of went by the book and just started moving around the space.
I think it's also important to note we weren't very dictatorial on the locations or prescribing what the child should experience in that creative moment. We were very much letting them lead the imagination component, and then we would kind of leverage and uplift what they were kind of giving to us, rather than trying to kind of construct too much of what we want them to do. So I guess there was a component that was very much child-led. Even though we were creating maps and journeys, it was still very flexible and open to their input. So it was very much a very collaborative experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because we would feed off the children's ideas, that would then, what we see at the pirate ship or how we get there or which locations we visited very much were based off the children's ideas after we'd read the book as well. So they kind of had a stimulus to work off and create their own journey in a sense. Yeah. The second book we did was, this one actually wasn't on the 2018 Premier's Reading Challenge list. Quick disclosure, the one we had to get from Canada and it wasn't going to arrive in time. So this was a similar one about colours and shapes. And this lesson, I guess, again, we had a numeracy component through identifying shapes. So for instance, we started with a square. We identified what shapes around the room were a square shape, you know, like the TV or a window. And then we tried to make a square as a group, and I think this was a challenging group activity, but also good for spatial awareness in that we had the kindergarten teachers stand up and be the corners of the squares, and then as a group we filled in the outline. So we made a square as a group, and then we separated off into our own individual spaces on our dots, and we made shapes with the scarf as something tangible for them to see a shape. And then we also then went a little bit abstract and started, you know, drawing a square on the ceiling with our finger, or drawing a square with our nose, so using different body parts as well, and repeated that with a couple of other shapes.
I think this was the first lesson where we introduced collaborative group work or partner work as well, which was kind of a big step in the process, was getting the children to work together, not only as a group and a collaborative team, but that one-on-one interaction and kind of experiencing that partnership of doing movement rather than self-generated movement.
Yeah, absolutely. And similar to what Joe said before, we'd say, you know, what body part can you draw a square with, and they'd come up with all different ideas, or how big or how small, or where can you draw the square, you know, if it's a nose, drawing a square on the ceiling. So we tried to encourage them to create their own movement as well, not just follow along with us.
Yeah.
Awesome. The second one we had was Dreamers, which is a really beautiful book. Had some beautiful illustrations, and also great kind of vocabulary in there as well. And this one we focused on kind of environments and landscapes. So we made a thunderstorm as a group, kind of similar to what Joe did in the warm-up with our pitter-patter. We did light and heavy, also on our feet, light feet and heavy feet, and thunder crashes.
The warm-up was probably a massive mashup of everything. Over 10 weeks, I tried to give a highlight of everything, but usually the warm-ups are a bit more pared back and simplified and a bit more focused on a theme rather than jumping around different experiences and themes, just so to bring clarity on that. It's yeah, each book had its own specified site-specific creative theme. It wasn't just randomized for the warm-up.
Yeah, and then I guess this one as well, we created a follow the leader activity. We moved outside. We also had some colourful dots put down that were like our pebbles we were crossing as we were going through the river. And we did some kind of step and hop activities and jumping activities to develop a little bit further the skipping that we had been working on through our marches and activities like that. Yes. We also, this is one of my favourite exercises we did through the sand pit. We kind of drew lines with our feet. So I might just show you this one.
As a partnership.
Yeah, as a partner, we again, starting this small group work, we drew clouds with our fingertips, and if the children didn't want to touch fingers, they didn't have to. And then we found our first position, and we started drawing lines through our sand pit, and we also did plie and up, which was part of our progression into galloping as well. And it was just fun because we were able to be in the sand pit and move through a different space, that kind of tangible, that brought the story to life in reality, in a sense, rather than being in a studio where we have to pretend about the environment.
I think that was a really key aspect of the program of getting it out of one space and really connecting kinesthetically with the environment, and seeing the impact that movement can have on a sandpit, and seeing those lines getting drawn as they moved, and the actual physical impact in the space, I think was really crucial in the entire experience, rather than just having it embedded in a square room and that was it. It's quite all encompassing. Yeah, I'm still finding sand and twigs in my shoes and things like that.
The fourth book we had was called Animals Rock. Comes with a CD as well, which was good fun to play. But for this one, we looked at musical rhythms. So again, that element of numeracy, like we developed a clapping rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and tried that then also in groups with clapping hands in partners, which was once again a challenging exercise, but a lot of fun, and they did start to understand that. And we put that same rhythm then into some animal actions. So like a giraffe swinging in the trees, swing, 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 or swish, swish, swish. Yeah, so we had 4 animals, and the children split up into groups, and we created an animal band where we had like the hippos and the giraffes going, and then the hippos and the crocodiles and the giraffes all making different noises. So that was quite a fun lesson as well.
That one really took a lot of concentration and focus, and I think it was not until the second lesson that like light bulb moment happened for them to go, right, I'm connecting the physicality to the rhythm, and we did get there in the end. It was quite impactful, and it was really cool lesson to do.
Yeah, and I think it's also we had the kindergarten teachers in the room were incredible and so hands-on, and of course they know the children really well, and so they kind of knew what they needed to do in every kind of part of the lesson, which was awesome to make it work. You know, it wouldn't work with just us coming in. We needed that collaborative kind of teaching relationship. Yeah. And the last one, which we're going to get up and put into action today, is called Those Pesky Rabbits, which sometimes pesky gets swapped with frisky, but it is actually pesky. Those pesky rabbits. So we're going to kind of show you what we did with this one today, and it was, as I said before, the peak of the program. So from what I've just talked through, you might notice some of the elements, like from the shapes lesson, we have to make circles as a group to make this story come to life. So we'd already done that before, the galloping in partners, things like that. So it all kind of came together, and there was a lot of instructions in order to make the whole story come to life. But in the end, we did get there, and this was a nice one then to share with their families in the final lesson. So just quickly, in case you haven't seen this story, so you know what we're bringing to life. Essentially, the big bear moves in next door to the rabbits, and he doesn't want to have any friends. He likes living by himself. The rabbits are very friendly, and so they come knocking on his door to go and make honey, to read books, to collect firewood, and every time he screams at them and says, "No, I want to be alone." And then one day, Bear is feeling very alone, and he decides that actually he would like some friends. So he goes to see the rabbits, and they become good friends. And I'll just show you this last image as well, because we'll finish with this is where they're watching shooting stars by the fire. So the theme for this was friendship and emotion. That's what we focused on. Yeah. So if you want to, once again, find your dancing space, if you'd like to give this one a go, or if you want to do it from a seated position in your chair, totally fine as well. We're just going to get set up.
I've got your circle set up.
Awesome, thank you.
Where are you starting from?
From finding our rabbits and bears.
Great.
Great. So we started indoors in the classroom, and we just started thinking about how rabbits moved and how bears moved and how that was different. So we asked the kids, what do you think? How do rabbits move, Mr. Joe?
I think rabbits move like this. They jump and they're bouncy.
Yeah, are they light or are they heavy?
They're light.
They're light. All right, can you try some very light jumps? Great. Oh, I like that, a little tail wiggle. Great. And then maybe let's put on a flopping bunny rabbit ears. And do you think they move fast or slow?
Fast.
Fast. Let's do some fast jumps. Great, bunny rabbit ears. Oh, maybe you could combine jumping and bunny rabbit ears. And tail wiggle. Good. All right, Mr. Joe, let's try that with some music.
All right, sounds good.
So I think music is very key as well in creating those characters, finding the right piece of music to reflect that and for the children to link, to hear that and understand the link between the music and the character. Here we go, jumping around. And tail wiggle. Good, and jumping around. Awesome. Good. Lovely. Great. We know if you've got your camera off, we know that you're jumping around like bunny rabbits.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to look at our bears. So what do you think about bears, Mr. Joe? Are they light or heavy?
Heavy.
Heavy. Show me a heavy, stomping bear legs. Good. Get out your bear claws. And are they fast or slow?
Oh.
They're pretty slow at the moment, hey?
Yeah. They're like me pre-coffee, that kind of movement. Yeah.
Great. And then we do crouching down in your house all alone. And then the rabbits come along. We want to go. Rah! Great. Let's try that with some music.
Okay.
Our bear movements. Getting out your claws.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
A great one from Romeo and Juliet. The bear. Good. Nice claws.
Great claws.
And crouching down. Good. All right, here come the rabbits. Great. Good one. So we repeated that a couple of times, and then we looked at splitting up the kids into groups. So, Mr. Joe.
Yes.
Today you're going to be the leader of the rabbits.
Great. Good.
Yes.
I'm fast. I'm lithe. I'm tall. Yeah.
Great. And we found half the group to be rabbits and half the group to be bears to tell our story. And we're going to start off with the rabbits are going to stay inside.
Yes.
Have a little bit of a team meeting.
The rabbits are going to hang out, talk a bit, practice their rabbit moves, because the bear can just go off and be sad and grumpy.
Yeah, and our bears in a single file. The bears followed us, or followed me, being the leader of the bears, outdoors, and we came into a circle. We're in a small middle circle, and the rabbits are going to come and make a larger circle on the outside of us. So we follow the leader out with our great, heavy, slow, grumpy bear moves. And then we're here in our house being just a bit sad and grumpy.
Yeah.
Great. All right, rabbits, are you ready to come on outdoors?
So during that whole process, the rabbits were getting ready, wheeling their tails, thinking about getting the children's input on how the rabbit would move. And we bounced our way out to find our rabbits. So we built up the narrative and then spoke about we're going to head outside and find the bears now to ask them if they want to come and play or get honey or whatever we wish. And so we made our way and surrounded the bears in a circle in our dots outside. It was very clear that, yeah, we had to have our hats on, but that was confusing because bunny rabbits have ears. So we needed to imagine that our ears could go through our hats. So that's another key learning. And so maybe, do you want me, Martha, just to kind of roll through what we did?
Yeah, let's just play some music and we'll go through
and
this
so,
one. So the rabbits are going to come and knock on the bears' doors and see if they'll come out and collect some firewood.
Yeah.
So you
here we
ready
go.
to skip in?
Yeah.
Good.
So we get ready and we do our wiggles, practice some of our bouncing. Can we hear the bears? Yeah, okay, let's go.
And they knock on our door and good. Try skipping this time,
I'm going to try skipping this time. Here we go. rabbits, let's go. Let's try and wiggle, might help. Good, rabbits. Ah!
Great. Awesome. Then from here, the bears, we have a bit of another team meeting and we decide that we're actually a little bit lonely and we'd like a friend. So one at a time, we got the bears to stomp on over. Yes. And they got to choose a rabbit friend. So I'm going to choose Mr. Joe as my rabbit friend today. And then we again came into our galloping, which we'd practiced before. And we galloped all the way back home towards inside. And we finished looking for stars, for shooting stars.
So yeah,
putting on our binoculars. Each kid did it differently.
Kid got a chance to gallop down the runway, so to speak, and then we spent time kind of, I guess it was almost like a point of reflection. So as the other children were galloping through, one of us was sitting with them looking at the stars, and it was this moment for them to kind of express how they were feeling about being a rabbit. And someone would ask questions, about, well, is the bear really sad? Or, that was a time for them to kind of just naturally broach any things that came up for them. It sounds really funny, but they did start to kind of question things and ask questions until we all regrouped and as friends, and then brought it inside again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was, I guess, that's that lesson, our final lesson. We talked the first week, we kind of did each section by section. And then the second week, we tried to run through it a little bit more non-stop in a sense. So we really saw that flow of the story. And yeah, so that one was really quite a fun lesson. And as you can see, there's a lot in that between skipping and galloping and different formations and moving in different ways and small group work, partner work. So certainly was accumulation of everything we had done in the 10 weeks.
Yes.
After this, for each lesson, we then came back inside and we finished off with a freeze game. And the freeze game was, we used as, I guess, a bit of a recap activity to consolidate whatever we'd learned during that lesson that may have been new. So if it was a new ballet step, we'd dance around the space however we want and then freeze in a first position. Or if we, for instance, the one we did after this lesson was that we'd move around the space like bears or rabbits. Good work. And then freeze in your retire, which we learnt in the warm-up. So, and balance retire. Things like that where it's just a fun game to address some of the new themes or steps or ballet terminology that we had covered in that lesson. And then of course we finished with a warm down, which is very similar to our warm up. We just start from standing and we end up finishing on the floor in a circle, and finish with a reverence, which is a very traditional ballet. I guess it's something that happens at the end of every single ballet class or workshop, and that's our way of saying thank you. So as usually as either a bow,
you
or
can choose bow or a curtsy, whatever the flavour of the month was, whatever you felt like doing.
And that, I guess, gave some real structure to the lesson, that we started always sitting in our circle, and that was familiar to the children, that routine, and then we finished with our warm down and reverence, and that was the end of the workshop. Awesome. So I'm just going to come back in close, so we're going to grab our chairs. And does anyone have any questions? I've got the chat here. So I'm just seeing one says, how far out of Brisbane would you travel for an artist in residence grant? I think that depends on the grant itself. So I know we also received another one last year where we travelled out to Ipswich. It was about a 50-minute drive out. So I think it depends, it essentially depends on the grant and the funding, so that when we put the grant in, if we have to travel an hour, we can allocate that into the budget as such that the grant would be supporting, in order for two of us to spend an hour or an hour and a half travelling somewhere. add an hour and a half back, unless there's any other restrictions, I guess, or criteria around the grant as to where it has to be. I know the Artist in Residence grant, generally it has to be in a school or kindergarten that's in a low socio area. But there may be other grants that support these kind of programs in schools in other areas or demographics as well.
About the duration of each workshop.
45 minutes, roughly. We kind of gave ourselves an hour to be at the kindergarten, and we also gauged it on the kids. If they were going really well, we might have gone 50 minutes. If they were having a rough day, we might have gone for 40 minutes. So we were a little bit flexible. We went to start time, finishing time. We kind of fed off the kids a little bit. Yeah. Great. So we've got one other question saying, did you find working outside was better overall? Would you do inside, or you started inside then went out each day? Yeah, we did alternate. So some lessons we do completely inside, but we usually did start inside.
Yeah.
In our circle space. So before we get there, that was kind of their setup activity to make sure the space was clear, and we'd come into that circle space, and then we'd move outside for, I think, 3 out of the 5 books we did outside, and then the other 2 we did the whole lesson inside. I think outside was really awesome because it could bring the story to life more than, in a sense, inside, and that gave us as well kind of a little bit more to play with in sense of creating fun activities as well, rather than just our indoor space. We've got, how did you adjust to the children that didn't get the positions? Great. So I think, yeah, absolutely. This is a question that we have a fair bit, actually. And similar to when we do school workshops or things like that, what's the expectation, I guess, as well, in that we, the way we teach the steps is usually kind of an analogy. So like first position is our pizza feet, or plie, making a dime, and there's so many different things that we can come up with. So I guess the intention then doesn't become about achieving the first position or achieving a first position that looks like mine or Mr. Joe's, but the intention becomes about creating that shape or that movement. So even if it was a plie in first position, which is our bend, if they, you know, were starting to bend their knees and they weren't quite in a first position, that's okay. I mean, we can work towards it, but the intention was about the understanding, I guess, of the movement rather than having the aesthetic of that perfect movement.
Yeah, and there was no assessment on the child on whether they achieved it or not, really. It's not trying to set them up to do something right or wrong. It was just exactly what you explained, of just giving it a go, seeing how they respond.
Yeah, absolutely. The emphasis on, you know, like blowing a bubble is our classic ballet first and fifth positions, but however they blew that bubble on that day was fine, because that's just that movement intention, which I think is quite important, that we're not going in as ballet dancers achieving a ballet step as such, that we're bringing in the movement aspect and the telling of a story that dance does so well and is fun to do through movement.
Yes.
Any other questions? No? Awesome. Well, we have 10 minutes. So we have a quick creative activity that you might do. We could also do it though all together as a group rather than breaking out into breakout rooms. So let me just share my screen with you one more time, and let's have a look at.
If any questions do come up later in the week or another time, please feel free to email Martha, myself, or the community inbox at Queensland Ballet, and we'll be able to chat with you further as well.
Yeah, or give us a call. Oh, now I'm opening my My goodness. Here we go. Great. Can we all see that slide? Just like thumbs up if you can see a slide.
Yes.
Yes, you've got that, Evie. Awesome. Great. So this is our creative activity. And just quickly before we get going, I'll just kind of explain a little bit the purpose behind this. Is that this is something we do quite regularly, where we have to take an idea or a book or something as stimulus and create a movement around that. And so on the right hand side, we've got some of the key elements of dance, and these also are taken from the Australian curriculum. So I guess in terms of that progression of learning, if they're then going into prep, grade 1, grade 2, that these will come up if they've got dance in the curriculum at their school they'll be going on to. And this helps us as well to create a movement of a character, or, you know, if it's purple triangle is our theme or stimulus, helps us to create a movement reflecting that. So things like energy, smooth or sharp. We did this with the rabbits and the bears. Size, big or little, weight, level, using different body parts. So taking maybe a very literal movement and making it a little bit more abstract. Directions, travel, body shapes. So like our curved, angular, straight, different kinds of shapes, floor pathways, speed, and then the relationships we have with the space and other people in the space. So what we'd like to do as a group now is we're going to take those 5 words, walking on sand, 5 words, 5 ideas, there's a few more than 5 words there. Walking on sand, tall mountains, friendship, purple triangle, and swishing elephant, and create movements just based off those words. So some of them may be very literal, and some of them may take a little bit more thought. I guess probably purple triangle being the most abstract of them. So we can see everyone there, can't we?
Yeah.
Awesome. So great. Let's start with walking on sand. And I mean, if you don't have your camera on, you can do this by yourself without us watching, that's fine. If you do have your camera on, it would be great if you could give some ideas. Even if you're from a seated position, you could still give an idea of walking on sand, even if that's with your fingertips or something, another part of your body. So does anyone have any thoughts thinking about those elements of dance, about how you might make a movement for walking on sand? And then we can show you ours. Any thoughts?
Be courageous.
Tiptoe. Tipping toe.
Tiptoe walk. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely tippy toe walks, particularly if it's hot sand at the beach. It's a sunny Queensland day.
Queensland hot sand.
Queensland hot sand.
What does that feel like if we put it in our elbows?
Ooh.
So if we put that movement to our elbows, perhaps, what would that look like for you? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Great. We could also have, if it's like a cold, wet day at the beach, drawing lines in your sand. So
it's cold, wet
cold.
Sand.
You're moving very slowly. It's how the beach might be at the moment.
Yeah, true. Great.
Any other thoughts?
Shannon said there's sharp, fast on toes. So that's kind of like the tippy toes, I'd imagine. And she said, yeah, dragging feet. Melissa said dragging feet.
Nice.
Energy, pace thing of dragging slow through the sand.
Yeah. Almost through the water as well. That slows you down when you try and walk in water. All right, so let's move on to tall mountains.
Yeah.
Any thoughts how you'd move like a mountain?
Great, nice. There's like a jumping shape there, I think, from Feiyu.
Yeah.
Like a tall mountain.
Yeah. And climbing,
You
like
can move.
painting.
Cool.
Oh, I like climbing too.
Climbing a mountain.
Yeah. And you could, I guess, to extend that into sharp kind of angular movements around. Any other thoughts? Like a tall mountain with our bodies.
Body with your tall mountain. Okay.
We can touch the floor.
Or you try and make a mountain with our hands. Just
Mm.
our hands making the mountain. Make the smallest mountain you can make with your hands. Tiniest mountain.
Good. So playing around with our size and shape.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go on to friendship. Any thoughts about making a movement about friendship? Yes, hi.
It's abstract. Yeah. Friendship. Express friendship with that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
My friend.
I think friendship's too very like happy.
Yeah.
You know, happy and bright rather than slow and heavy. It's that kind
Yeah.
of like high,
It's a light
upward
feeling.
movement, like you're floating almost.
I guess Faye immediately she went for a sway. So
Yeah.
it's that joyous swaying. Not like heavy bears. It's very uplifting.
Yes.
I think Jordan said a hug. So yeah, hugging shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's for the same household, hugging shape.
And you can like end making our dancing. I love dancing with hands. So yeah, make your fingers hug.
Yeah.
Hugging fingers.
Hugging.
Hugging your knees.
COVID.
Yes. Not hugging friends, but hugging hands.
Yes.
Yeah, Melissa
Yeah, nice.
linking arms and skipping, and Ona said hold hands and skip.
Absolutely. Should we just move on? We've got two more really quickly. Purple triangle.
Yeah. Colors are great. Because there's nothing, it's so abstract, there's no expectation of what a color looks like. It's from you. If you just think about what the color purple, how would you express that in your body? It's very abstract, but yeah, it's complex.
The
I mean,
on top of the head, like
You're finding a triangle shape.
that's a triangle, purple triangle.
I like with that. Okay.
I feel like purple to me is like a deep color,
I was
so
about
it
to say
feels
that,
low
a deep
in the
colour.
body.
Yeah.
It's like deep triangle shape, deep.
Yeah.
It's a dark, it's a moody color,
It's a yeah.
and it swings a little bit
Yeah.
for me, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone might think purple is uplifting and good,
Absolutely.
and that maybe the
Their
triangle is the
interpretation.
here on the side of their body. I don't know.
Yeah. And last one, I guess, is quite literal, a swishing elephant. So any thoughts on a swishing elephant? Great.
Nice.
Jordan's got a great trunk.
Movement dynamic from Jordan. Really.
And again, quite heavy, like we have with our head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that look like fast? What does that look like slow?
Or to be the smallest elephant you can be.
Yes. What if it's a light
You've got
elephant?
like- yeah.
What if the trunk is your nose? You know.
Yeah. So playing around with some of those ideas that maybe take it from literal to abstract as well. To, I guess, foster some imagination, some creativity in the children. I think a beautiful thing about young children is that they don't have the same hesitations or kind of restrictions that we have as adults, that like, well, a swishing elephant has to be an elephant stomping with a swishing trunk, you know, that they're happy to try some new ideas as well.
These concepts are concepts that are used in the choreographic context at Queensland Ballet, or any choreographer. They use these tasks for adults for creative task. It's more just a stimulus to kind of create movement, because the you know, you don't overthink it. As you start to make things big or small or put it in your elbow, you take away that judgment or what it should look like, and then you start to create some nice movement. Yeah, it's a good tool.
Yeah. And that's all we have time for today. So thank you for being, for being part of our presentation today, and for moving with us and sharing your questions. And as Jo said before, if you do have any further questions about Kindy moves or any of our education programs, please feel free to get in touch with us, give us a call, send us an email. Always happy to chat to educators.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you so much, and we hope you feel like you also got something out of it to take back to your classrooms.
Great. Thanks so much, Jo. Thanks, Martha. This has been great. I think everyone is definitely agreeing. Michelle said it, Fee said it. Thank you for Connect Ballet Language to ECEC. Thanks so much. Great workshop. And Melissa's also said, loved all of this and can't wait to put these ideas into practice. And I definitely think this whole session has been so practical. We can take it to our settings and really use it with the children, starting with the book and moving forward, or even just the simple movements or talk of these tall mountains and friendships. This communication, this expression is definitely what's needed in our setting. And finally, just big thank you from ECTA and